Taiwan, I'm Reece with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's High Court has rejected former Taipei Mayor Wen-je's appeal to be released from detention pending his trial on corruption charges. The founder and former head of Taiwan's third party, the Taiwan People's Party, spent nearly 4 months in detention before being released on bail in late December. He was detained again a week later after prosecutors argued he could collude with his co-defendants in the case. Partisan tensions are flaring after a rally in support of the detained Taiwan People's Party founder Wen-je. Faces charges of bribery and embezzlement, but views of his case differ sharply across party lines. As John Van Trieste reports, the latest point of contention is whether the rally itself could affect Ke's chances of a fair trial.
Supporters of embattled Taiwan People's Party founder Wen-je crowd Taipei's Liberty Square, demanding an end to what they say is his persecution at the hands of political rivals. Ke's case is one of the factors driving partisan tensions in Taiwan toward breaking point. Formerly a rising political star and a presidential candidate, Ke now faces nearly 3 decades in prison over charges of real estate corruption during his time as Taipei mayor and embezzlement during his run for president last year. These protesters say the charges are politically motivated, and they believe the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, represented by the color green, has its thumb on the scales of justice.
对抗民进党这一个绿色威权的恐怖统治下面，台湾人民不分党派都应该要团结在一起站出来。
While the rally was peaceful, it set off a fresh wave of partisan anger, a wave that's about to crest. DPP lawmaker Zhong Jiabin says that come Monday, his Justice Committee will hear a report on whether Ke's supporters obstructed justice by taking to the streets.
对于发起这样的群众是否会去影响司法的公正审判，我们觉得也要来听听司法实务者的心声。
And this, in turn, has triggered the Kuomintang, the third of Taiwan's big 3 parties. Despite their differences, the Kuomintang and the Taiwan People's Party often work together as an opposition bloc, and several leading KMT members were at the Ke rally in solidarity.
钟嘉宾，如果你觉得我们都是现行犯，你现在去报警，把我们现在在场所有人都抓走，看你敢不敢？
The current tone of Taiwan's politics is one of acrimony. Already, bitterness over recent controversial bills had the ruling and opposition blocs threatening each other with mass recall campaigns. Now, the case of Wen-je is tearing open a fresh divide. James Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Deadly wildfires continue to rage in the Los Angeles area, with authorities warning the danger is far from over.
Elevated critical fire weather conditions are predicted to begin this evening and continue through Wednesday. Moderate to locally strong Santa Ana winds will affect Los Angeles County today and tomorrow, and again Monday through Wednesday.
Despite efforts to extinguish or slow the flames as they consume entire neighborhoods, the 2 largest fires, the Eaton and Palisades, are less than 20% contained. At least 16 people are confirmed to have died so far, and the number is expected to rise. More than 100,000 residents remain under evacuation orders. U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith, the prosecutor who led 2 federal cases against Donald Trump, has resigned from the Justice Department. One case charged Trump with attempting to overturn his defeat in the 2020 presidential election, which resulted in the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol. The other charged Trump with mishandling classified documents after he left office. Neither case made it to trial, and Smith dropped both cases after Trump was re-elected as president in November. Trump has repeatedly called Smith deranged and has threatened retribution against the prosecutor and others who investigated him after he takes office on the 20th. Ukraine says it's captured 2 North Korean soldiers, a first since North Korean troops started fighting for Russia last fall. Footage purported to be of the captured soldiers has not been verified. Ukraine says it is interrogating the men with South Korean help. Both men have injuries. Kyiv says it's holding the men in conditions that meet the standards of international law. Soldiers who survived injuries on the battlefields of Ukraine are healing spiritually at a holy site in Greece. Through faith, they say they're finding peace after almost 3 years of war. Bryn Thomas reports.
A 1,000-kilometer bus trip brought Ivan from Lviv, Ukraine to northern Greece. On the sacred slopes of Mount Athos, he and other veterans are seeking peace after enduring life-changing injuries in the largest war fought in Europe in 70 years.
Психологічно я до цього був готовий, тому що я розумів, на що я йду, які в мене великі ризики.
Ivan and 22 other veterans, scarred physically or emotionally in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, are on a 4-day pilgrimage organized by Ukrainian authorities. The trip aimed at healing soldiers deeply affected by the ongoing war.
Звісно, після того, як відвідав сам Афон, неодноразово відчув благодать, відчув Боже благословення, бо ми розуміємо, що Боже благословення і Божа благодать набагато більше реабілітує героя, воїна, ніж фізична або психологічна реабілітація вдома.
A UNESCO World Heritage Site, Mount Athos is a spiritual home for the Orthodox Church. Since the 10th century, it has been a pilgrimage destination available to men only.
Багато військових сьогодні страждає від після подій, які відбулися за 3 роки. Є багато військових, які страждають від різних недуг, є поранені, і треба їх реабілітувати.
Mount Athos has long-standing ties to Russian Orthodoxy and hosted President Putin in 2016 to mark 1,000 years of Russian monastic presence. But Greece, a NATO member, supports Ukraine in the war, straining its ties with Moscow. Ivan and his comrades visited only Greek Orthodox sites where they took communion in incense-filled chapels overlooking the Aegean Sea. Ivan's fellow soldiers carried him over cobblestones and up the narrow stairs of the monasteries where he found strength in his faith.
Звісно, за перемогу, за товаришів, які там, і товаришів, які загинули.
On Mount Athos, Ivan and his comrades seek more than rest. They seek spiritual healing from the scars of a war that's ravaged their homeland. Through faith and prayer, they are guided towards peace and strength by a grace that transcends their wounds. Patrick Chen and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
A loose donkey and deer have been spotted wandering across roads in Yilan in Taiwan's northeast.
这么黑的晚上，然后我就想说，它在路边其实也蛮危险，我就看能不能把它赶到田里面。
Worried drivers contacted the police, fearing the escaped animals could cause traffic incidents. Both animals were raised by nearby residents. The local agriculture department is warning owners that letting animals roam across roads violates animal protection laws and traffic regulations, and they could face fines. Taiwan's cat owners are now required to register their pet and fit it with a microchip. The new regulation comes into effect as Taiwan tries to manage its stray cat population. Cat owners have until January 2026 to comply or be fined up to around $450. Hundreds of mobile registrations have been set up in some areas to make it easier for owners to get it done. The popular tourist destination of Kenting is experiencing a drop in visitors, leading to the closure of several hotels and shops. Chelsea Wu has the story.
This street in southern Taiwan, once a lively tourist hotspot, now stands deserted. Kenting, a beach resort in Pingtung County, has long been one of Taiwan's top travel destinations, but it's facing a sharp decline in visitors. Since the country lifted its COVID restrictions in 2022, more Taiwanese have opted for overseas trips, leaving these shops to grapple with fewer customers.
现在都外国客啊，我这摩托车他们又没有国际驾照的啦，已经2-3天没有开市了。
3 of the area's hotels are now shutting their doors. At least one say it's closing for renovations. But those in the tourism sector are increasingly feeling the strain of sustaining their businesses. More than 8 million travelers visited Kenting in 2014. During the pandemic in 2021, that figure fell more than 70% to just a little over 2 million. Last year saw only a slight increase, with 2.14 million visitors. Some say the government should take responsibility for the losses incurred by Kending's businesses.
如果办个活动，是不是对我们大家都好？你看现在都办在市区啊，那我们这边不能办个演唱会，或是办个那个吗？让我们这边的经济能够起来吗？
In response, officials are finding ways to revive the domestic market in Kending, such as highlighting the area's national park.
垦丁管理处这一边，那去做一个合作，那希望促请国家公园这一边的一个设施及管理可以做一个明显的一个提升。
While challenges remain, local businesses and officials hope that by revitalizing Kending and enhancing its appeal, the area can once again reclaim its status as a beloved destination for both domestic and international travelers. John Su and Chelsea Wu for TaiwanPlus.
How do you prepare for the toughest, coldest and windiest marathon in the world? Well, our reporter Sandy Chi went to see a Taiwanese ultramarathon runner who just completed his grueling training route across the country.
Pushing himself to the limit, making sure he can run for hundreds of kilometers. This is 38-year-old Tommy Chen, Taiwan's elite ultramarathon runner, who has claimed the top spot in several international ultramarathons over the years. And now he's gearing up for his next race. The 2025 6633 Arctic Ultra is 612 kilometers long and is set to take place on February 27th. The race is known as the toughest, coldest and windiest competition, with temperatures that can drop to negative 50 degrees Celsius.
第一个是平安完赛，因为风险很高，完赛几率30%，那没有亚洲选手完赛过，所以我希望就是先以完赛为目标。
To get in peak shape for the Arctic Ultra, he did not train alone. Starting from January 1st, Chen ran from Taipei in the north of Taiwan down to the southern port city of Kaohsiung, traversing over 412 kilometers in 8 days. As Chen made his way down south from the capital, dozens of runners and bikers joined him each day. They were running with him to show their support, even if they didn't go the whole way.
因为我觉得非常有趣，而且那是一种热血的感觉。 就是每天只要而且我每天只有睡4个小时，因为我一想到说要出来可以追着夜魔跑，我都觉得超开心的。
Some say they learned a valuable lesson running with Chen.
坚强的毅力，自律的功夫做得非常好，真的没什么休息，很少跑者有这种毅力跟精神。
During the 8 days, those who could not join Chen supported him via messages and tracked his location. Some supporters and friends even showed up at his final stop.
我来等燕博一起到终点，因为对我来讲，他是精神支柱跟精神力量，然后感觉就是看到他就可以工作上面会有很大的活力。
This is the second time for Chen to train along with other runners. He did the same in 2023. However, this year he says it felt different.
我吓到，我不知道人怎么这么多，突然就进来，然后人家就很笑，就开玩笑讲说像《阿甘正传》台湾版，你会有很多的，除了 support 还有 responsibility， 你会有一些责任。那这个责任的话不是对自己，而是很多人因为去支持你，所以你其实是带着大家的希望，然后一直去往前推进的。
Throughout the over 400-kilometer route, Chen often felt the urge to give up. However, those feelings gradually faded away.
前4天的时候觉得说，我靠，我怎么搞那么痛苦啊？干嘛这个样子？可是后来又转念了，做这样训练，我可以，我到台湾每一个不同的角落，就是即使多绕了一点路，如果你可以去欣赏周遭的更多风景，其实那也是寻找不同的快乐。这样。
Chen now has less than 2 months to go until his ultramarathon in the Arctic Circle. He will next train in the mountains of Taiwan to adapt to the cold and frost he will face during the race. He hopes to leave his mark on history to be the very first person from Asia to complete the Arctic Ultra. Eason Chen and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out this Elvis Presley-themed parade from the annual Parks Elvis Festival in Australia. I'm Reece. Take care and see you next time.